What's up everybody, Byron here from ETA, and today we're going to have a cool tech talk, not to be confused with a TikTok, which I still don't really get it. Anyway, I've seen a lot of different tech videos on a lot of different e-skate channels and websites, but I've noticed the one thing that I haven't seen anywhere, specifically is talking about maintenance. And if you have pneumatic tires, how come nobody ever balances them? Well, today we're going to answer that question. And I know there's a lot of people that seem to disagree with this, but I don't care. Deflate the tire before you remove the axle nut. If you work around two-piece tires long enough, whether they be small or large, you'll find out why. All right, so let's go ahead and take this one off. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the skateboard axle. Okay. So we just want to make sure that it's nice and loose on there when we start. And then we're just going to gently snug this. Make sure that you have your speed ring in there, by the way, or small washer, whatever you would like to call it. I've always called it a speed ring. All right. So you want to make sure that it sits on the axle part and not the threaded part. And you're not actually trying to apply tension. You see how I have a little side-to-side play? We're just going to there we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to find the heaviest part of the wheel. So pay attention to the valve stem here. Let me see if I can get you slightly better angle. All right, so pay attention to this. All right, as you can see, this is the one wheel I have which is balanced. All the rest of them are not balanced. You see how you just lightly scoot it and then it stays put? It's when you rotate it up like this and then you let it go, the heavier part will tend to rotate like that on its own down to the bottom. And basically what you're trying to do is find the lightest part of the wheel and the heaviest part of the wheel. And you're just going to use some stick-on weights like this. So since we've just confirmed that this one is balanced, we're going to do this one more time just real quick. Go ahead and take that off. Go ahead and fully remove it from the axle. Put it back on. I'll make sure that that speed ring stays put. Okay. I'm going to use the screwdriver, line up the spacer, pop it on. All right, so once again, just going to give it a little spin and it stops. So now I'm going to take it back. And as you can see, the wheel is not moving, right? So this wheel and this tire assembly are properly balanced. So that's pretty awesome. Always catch your speed ring. Flat side to the bearing, rounded side inboard, rounded side outboard. Got it? Cool. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and do this one. We're going to check this one. Now I've already checked these, so I know for sure that 3 out of my 4 wheels are out of balance. So go ahead. Yeah, see that sucker moving now? All right. So I'm going to bring that wheel over here so you can get a clear view of it. Alrighty guys, so now we're just moved around to a little bit of a better angle here. So to catch you up, because I'm going to delete the last section of the video, I've already checked the balance on this, and it is in fact balanced. So now we're checking the balance on this. So we're just going to move it slightly. Let it go. The heaviest part is always going to be straight down at the bottom. So this is the heavy part, and this is the light part. Pretty cool. Alrighty, so that is what a properly balanced wheel looks like. Now, what I'm thinking is, because this is taken 11 grams. 11 grams to balance this wheel assembly, wheel and tire assembly. So what I'm thinking is that if I disassemble the wheel and rotate the tire a little bit, since this is the heaviest point, this could be the heaviest point on the tire as well as the inner tube, and I just move it up to here, and then we'll see how well it balances, because this one is totally balanced without any weights at all. So you've seen how an unbalanced wheel rotates. I'm sorry, you've seen how a properly balanced wheel rotates, with some cool slow-mo, I may add. We're going to do the same thing. First, let's go ahead and confirm that this is in fact not balanced, which we have just accomplished. Remember, when you're doing this, you don't want to tighten it like you would normally to ride. You just want to leave it a little bit more loose, right? So you can see how it kind of has a little wobble. You can tell that it's not quite perfect. And I'm all about chasing that technical perfection, right? So let's hit you in the slow-mo, show you what that looks like. And we're going to go ahead and do the last one now. Same as before. That is clearly the heaviest point. Go ahead and put the speed ring and the nut on so you guys can see what I'm talking about with the imbalance. And I'm thinking, really, before I go too much farther with sticking these weights on, I'm going to try to separate one of these wheels and we'll go from there. So you can see when it's snugged up, it's not bad, but it's not right. So let me just slow this down slightly and you'll see. Back that nut off just a little more. There we go. There it is. That's what we were looking for. So this one is actually pretty close. This one is not like the others where it was way, way off. Alrighty guys, and we're back. So this is the inner tube. This is the wheel half. This is a little spacer. Make sure that this is inside the wheel when you reassemble it. I did not show the inside of these wheels on my unboxing, so for that I apologize. As you can see, you can change out this core in here and pretty much run whatever wheels you want to run on this board. So it's pretty neat. So basically, this is where the heaviest point on the wheel assembly was. So we're going to put this valve stem this way. And what that's going to do is effectively move the tire 180. So the valve stem is going to be here, and this was the heaviest point. And we're going to see if that changes the balance. And it should. I don't know to what degree. The other thing we're going to go ahead and do, since we've got it apart, and I notice it's totally bone dry in here, I'm going to use some tire talc. Get actual tire talc. That's what this is. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit, and it doesn't take a lot, guys. You're just gonna put a little bit in, move it around. All right. So now we've got enough in there. Make sure you're doing this over a towel or something. You don't want a crap load of it. You just want a very light coating when you're done. Okay. So now, pro tip, you take this and you lightly run it around your mess that you have just created on your towel, and your wife won't kill you. So you want to get a little bit onto the inner tube as well. And again, it doesn't take a whole lot. This I'm on there. And what that's going to help it do is it's going to help it when it comes to the internal friction of what's going on inside this wheel. So now we deflate this a little bit more. You don't want to totally deflate the inner tube, but you do definitely want to get as much air out of there as you can. But having it lightly inflated will help a great deal. And you're just going to slowly walk it in to your tire. There we go. And you're going to make sure that it's fully seated against the outside of the tire. And there you have it. So now we're pretty much exactly where we wanted to be, right? 180 from there. Now we're going to take the inboard side of the wheel, making sure that we don't pinch anything and that you don't drop your spacer on a recorded video. Don't worry, I'm not going to edit that out. I like to show you my mistakes as well. You're going to repeat the process with the talc. Just a little bit goes a very long way. And this is going to do a few things for you, including to help make sure you don't pinch the inner tube. Because that sucks, man. So that's about how much I'm putting on there. Just a very, 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 very light amount. It doesn't take a lot. So you're going to line it up with the valve stem. You are going to make sure that the seam of the tire is not going to get pinched, right? And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is actually add a little bit of air right now. But what I'm trying to do is remove any slack. So you don't want it super inflated. I mean, we're only talking like maybe 4 or 5 PSI. There we go. So now you can see how much better that inner tube is in there. You've just really reduced the chance that you're going to pinch it. And just make sure that it's cleanly inserted without pinching the tube. And line up your spacer, which you don't really have to, but I mean, you should. Okay. And then make sure that your screw holes, what I like to do is once it's at this point, that's where you rotate it. And you can visually verify that you're not pinching the tube. So now we're going to go ahead and put one of our bolts in, like so. You're double checking that the spacer is installed, because rework sucks. And you're just going to kind of drop your nut like it's a stepsister. You're visually looking in this crack here to make sure that you're not pinching the tube. And that's one of the reasons that you want to slightly inflate the tube. So once you get it going just a little bit, try to get one on the opposite side. Now we're going to grab another one. Same process. Honestly, the only thing that could really improve these wheels, in my humble opinion, is aluminum. If these wheels are aluminum. So I'm going to be looking around for some aluminum wheels. Continue the process. All right. Now we're putting our last bolt in. These are M4 hardware, so you don't need a lot of torque, and it is a self-locking nut as well. So you just take it till it's tight and give it a quarter turn. Make sure you follow the star pattern when you're doing that. That's just tight and a quarter, tight and a quarter. I wish I had an actual torque spec. If I had to give you a torque spec, I'd say this is probably, I don't know, 10 inch-pounds. Somewhere between 10 and 20 inch-pounds. There it goes. All right, so I'm happy with that. We're gonna line up the spacer, pop it back on the old axle, and we're gonna see what happened. Boy, that's a lot better than it was, huh? Let's check it again. We'll pull the tape off, make sure we're not throwing anything off. Go ahead and snug up this real quick. That's a heck of a lot better. So we're gonna set it up. This is no longer the heaviest point. This is the heaviest point. And if you can see how it's sitting, that's balanced. I'm gonna have to add any weight to this at all. That's a beautiful thing. All right. So B1 quality control, if you guys are watching, and for you guys out there, this is not a B1 thing. This is a pneumatic tire on an electric skateboard thing, right? That's perfect. Alrighty guys, so we're done. We've got all 4 wheels perfectly balanced. Just rotating the tire 180 degrees from where it was ended up being the perfect cure. So y'all have a great rest of your day. I'm done here. This is awesome. And hopefully you guys have learned a little something. This is what I was talking about in some of my other videos, where you have to take your time, troubleshoot, and go through it. Now, realistically, this wouldn't have honestly hurt a single thing. But we've now eliminated every single possible source of vibration, which adds to my foot fatigue and yours as you ride the board. So now that we've done pretty much everything that we can do at this point, we're good to go. See y'all later.